Good morning, Pittsburgh. Welcome to Pitt to the Point, live from the state-of-the-art Pitt Studios. I'm Allie Ross.
And I'm David Altman. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Pitt to the Point is your one-hour news magazine show that covers everything at the University of Pittsburgh to its regional campuses,
to the City of Pittsburgh, as well as national and international news. We'll be covering everything from entertainment, politics, and sports.
And we'll be sure to keep you updated on all things Pittsburgh, all the way to the point. We begin this morning with chaos, confusion, and a day many children may never forget. Two high schools in Oakland, Central Catholic and Oakland Catholic, were forced into lockdown on Wednesday after false 911 calls described active shooters in the building.
The University of Pittsburgh and Carnegie Mellon University went on lockdown as well, restricting entry and exit to university buildings. Pitt police sent out emergency alerts warning students to stay inside and away from campus. When it was revealed a hoax, confusion still plagues students in the area, many unsure whether it was safe to roam campus.
It wasn't until hours later that many students were reunited with their families. Oakland Catholic students have been evacuated to St. Paul's Cathedral, while Central Catholic students remained sheltered inside the building.
Parents lined up outside their respective schools, anxiously awaiting their reunion with their children. Both Oakland schools let out for the remainder of the day and remain closed for the rest of the week.
We've obtained audio from the police scanner in the moments that these calls were first coming in, and as a warning, some viewers may find the audio disturbing.
EMS units just called in, head to Central Catholic, 4720 Fifth Avenue between South Neville and Clyde. Second room bathroom in the main building. We have UPMC police reporting the possibility of 6 people shot at the high school. To be a active shooter call. Central Catholic High School, 4720 Fifth Avenue, second floor bathroom, main building. We have a student on the line with UPMC police reporting that there are 6 people shot by a student inside the school. Police for an active shooter call. Central Catholic High School at 4720 Fifth Avenue, second floor bathroom, main building. We have UPMC police on the line with a student that is claiming there are 6 people shot inside the school.
Once students were let out, tears filled many eyes. Feelings of nervousness turned into relief. However, concern is a feeling that stayed and filled up the surrounding area. Parents being concerned for their children, students being concerned for one another, and a community concerned about how something like this can happen so easily.
Although they'd seen the headlines on TV before showing mass shootings across the country, even a school shooting in Nashville only days earlier, these parents and students said they never thought it would happen to them.
I was in the bathroom, and me and my friend were both in there waiting for our friend to come out of the classroom, and we just heard there was a lockdown, so we ran behind the school. The teacher came in and got us, and we were in the classroom for about 40 minutes until we heard the SWAT team come in.
At home, if I could just see a tear in her eye on the phone, and I rushed down here. I get down here from Penn Hills in less than 30 minutes.
We heard that it was a hoax because there were multiple schools that got the same report, but that it was a concern from the police that one of the schools would actually be targeted. And so that was concerning that it could be one school around here being targeted by any school shooter anywhere. So that was still concerning because you're worried about other people, but really good to know that what's actually happening isn't happening to you and your friends and your family.
I'm going to go back and reiterate, I'm just glad nothing happened to the parents. You know, we all got to work together. We have to continue. You've heard me say this a number of times, and it's not just in the city, it's throughout America. That's what makes it so different and real. Is at the end of the day, this is going on everywhere. We heard the hoax was going on all throughout America. You know, our greatest asset is our children. We got to keep them safe, and we have to continue to work together to sort that out.
Even after the call was ruled a hoax, parents said they didn't feel true relief until their children were in their arms again.
Thankfully, no one ended up getting hurt in a physical sense. However, the mental toll taken on everyone involved cannot be underestimated, raising questions across the country of schools' preparedness for events like this and necessary action going forward. For more on this story, we go to our city beat reporter, Natalie Bellin. Natalie, what can you tell us at this time?
This unfortunate incident has left many shaken. You can see the fear and the emotion on the children's faces. Multiple shootings that happened throughout the year left trained officials prepared, and they ensured everyone's safety.
Pittsburgh Bureau of Police were dispatched to Central Catholic for a report of an active shooter with indications of multiple people down. Within a minute, we were notified that there was no active shooter at Central Catholic.
This past Wednesday morning, parents kissed their children goodbye before they began their day. What was supposed to be a standard day almost quickly turned into a horrific nightmare. 10:30 a.m., Pittsburgh police alerted to threat at Central and Oakland Catholic high schools. 3 separate 911 calls allege that an active shooter was at multiple schools. 10:45 a.m., dozens of police officers, firefighters, EMS crews were deployed. 11 a.m., Pittsburgh police cleared the high schools where students had been in shelter in place for 25 to 30 minutes. The PA State Police tweeted, "At this time, all claims in these calls have been determined to be false. The investigation is ongoing." Pittsburgh Mayor Ed Gainey was live on the scene of chaos at Central Catholic High School. He commented on his thankfulness that nothing dangerous had occurred at the local Pittsburgh high schools.
Thankful that nothing major happened. That's number one. Just being thankful that nothing really occurred. We know that this environment we're in today, that anything was liable to happen, and the bottom line is nothing happened. I want to thank all my public safety departments. I thought they did a phenomenal job. All the rest of law enforcement that came out to really make sure that the scene was secure. At the end of the day, this is going on everywhere. We heard the hoax was going on all throughout America. Our greatest asset is our children. We got to keep them safe, and we have to continue to work together to ensure that happens.
Central Catholic and Oakland Catholic were targeted among multiple schools across the state by computer-generated swatting calls. The mayor's office issued a statement for Pitt to the Point. Pittsburgh, today I am grateful for the safety of our children and thankful for the quick response from our public safety bureaus. Our children shouldn't be afraid to go to school, and parents shouldn't be afraid to send them there. Our Bureau of Police is working with state and federal partners to determine where this call originated from and to identify the people responsible for this senseless fear-mongering. This is not an isolated incident. Swatting hoaxes across the nation. In Pennsylvania, Oakland Catholic, Central Catholic, Hopewell, Laurel Highlands, Chalfont, Altoona, Bellefonte, Hollidaysburg, Erie, William Allen, Catasauqua, Lehighton, Newcastle. Other states impacted: Minnesota, Nebraska, Kansas, Utah, Missouri, Rhode Island, Ohio, Iowa, Georgia, Massachusetts, Colorado. So as you can see, this is not a nationwide incident. For Pitt to the Point, I'm City Beat reporter Natalie Bellin. I'm here with Joey, our political reporter. Joey, how can computerized generated swatting calls become a nationwide issue?
Well, as you mentioned, you listed off all those states. It has become a nationwide issue. Multiple states have been hit by these AI-generated swatting calls. And it's part of a general theme nationwide and worldwide with the rise of advanced artificial intelligence technology. 911 dispatchers are getting tricked by AI-generated swatting calls. People at home were tricked by photos of the Pope and Donald Trump. Misinformation was bad enough on social media and in politics before, but with the rise of incredibly realistic AI-generated imagery, the lines between reality and fiction are getting more and more blurred with every day.
Recordings of the 911 calls that claim to be from high schools in Pittsburgh have not yet been released, but state police describe them as computer-generated swatting calls, demonstrating yet another frightening capability of artificial intelligence technology. There are AI systems to generate all types of media now. OpenAI's ChatGPT can write poems, Midjourney can generate a photo of the Pope wearing a puffer jacket, and 11 Labs can make Barack Obama sing the hits.
The boys are liars. The boys are liars.
But as Dr. Raeed Ghani of the Center for Data Science and Public Policy says, it's not all fun and games with AI.
The main purpose for these tools has been sort of entertainment, and people play with it. And you could argue that, well, as an entertainment tool, it's pretty reasonable, but it's now being turned from that to much more malicious uses. That there is certainly a need for a lot more understanding of what these tools are doing, what they're not doing, and then putting more controls around them, because right now it's too much of a free for all.
On the Wednesday, tech leaders Elon Musk, Steve Wozniak, Andrew Yang, and over 1,000 others signed an open letter calling for a 6-month freeze on the development of advanced AI systems, urging governments to step in if necessary until safety protocols and independent investigators are put in place.
I think that's where we need to kind of impose our values onto these systems and have governments help us, because it's not going to be partially because a lot of these systems being trained on whatever is being generated on the internet. We don't really have enough controls on what's being generated, but we can control how it's released, what controls are there, how it's tested. So I think those are all the things we need to do around these types of technologies.
There are plenty of researchers trying to use AI for good, like Dr. Ghani and Carnegie Mellon University's Responsible AI Initiative. But it's a balancing act between the potential benefits and dangers.
We still want to do the good things people can do, but the danger is that the same technology, when designed for horrible purposes, can make those things worse. And like it's sort of this question of, are all the potential benefit worth all the demonstrated, risk?
By an AI-generated clone of my voice made using 11 labs. That's how advanced these technologies have gotten. That goes to show you why these issues have been taken so seriously by people like Dr. Ghani. That's why those 911 dispatchers were tricked by those AI-generated calls. It's one of the great issues of technology in our generation. But for now, for Pitt to the Point, I've been your political reporter, Joey Tevin. Allie and David?
Thank you, Joey and Natalie, for getting us that info, and we're sorry if you just experienced any technical difficulties. We spoke with Pitt Police Chief James Loftus here on Pitt to the Point earlier this year. It was shortly after the shooting at Michigan State University, and one of the biggest things he emphasized in these active shooter scenarios was police response time, getting to the scene quickly, being willing to act if you're the first officer to show up. And we're going to take a look at the timeline of Wednesday morning because it's a great example of that.
At 10:18 a.m., a call claiming there was an active shooter at Central Catholic High School came in, police responding within seconds of the call. Then at 10:30, Pitt's Emergency Notification Service and Carnegie Mellon's as well, or Pitt ENS, sent out its first alert. Additionally, Hopewell High School just outside of Pittsburgh went into lockdown as well. Then, 15 minutes later, Oakland Catholic High School evacuated into St. Paul's Cathedral. Around 10:51, the University of Pittsburgh went into lockdown, and then not even 15 minutes later, suspicions that the calls were a hoax started to arrive. After thorough investigation, the University of Pittsburgh ended its lockdown period, followed by an FBI statement made at noon, and then immediately followed by parents reuniting with their children shortly after. So, as you can see, a fast police response is essential in ensuring the safety of the scene. Pitt police train all year, and especially during the summer, to prepare for potential active shooter situations.
The first priority of police in these scenarios is to contain the threat. Then they focus on evacuating buildings, rescuing wounded individuals, and communicating with students. And if you find yourself in a potentially dangerous situation, remember Pitt Police's advice: run, then hide, then fight. For more information, go to emergency.pitt.edu.
Last night, Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg confirmed reports that a jury voted to indict former President Donald Trump.
The charges stem from Trump's alleged hush money payments to adult film actress Stormy Daniels back in 2016. This marks the first time a current or former United States president has been criminally charged.
Bragg began investigating numerous felony violations left to him from former Manhattan District Attorney Jim Pomerantz back in April of 2022. Currently, the charges remain under seal. However, CNN reported that the former president now faces more than 30 counts related to business fraud.
Bragg said his office is working with the former president's lawyers to coordinate his surrender, after which he'll have his mugshot and his fingerprints taken. Trump's arraignment is expected to take place on Tuesday. There, he will plead guilty or not guilty, and a judge will determine whether he can be released with or without bail.
Buffalo Bills defensive back Damar Hamlin had the unique opportunity Thursday to attend a one-on-one meeting at the White House with none other than President Joe Biden himself.
Hamlin, a former Pitt Panther, was in Washington, D.C. to support the AEDs Act, which would help provide life-saving support in the case of a cardiac arrest in schools across the country. This past January, Hamlin suffered a cardiac arrest in an NFL game versus the Cincinnati Bengals.
During their meeting, President Biden said Damar Hamlin's courage, resilience, and spirit inspired the American people.
And what's more, he turned recovery into action, and our country is better for it. Since 1910, the Pitt News has provided the Pitt community with accurate and timely news.
They provide the student body with coverage on issues that affect students at the university and across the country. In fact, our very own Allie Ross has worked at the Pitt News for a while now.
That's right, David. So I'm especially proud to feature them on the show. Let's take a look at the latest headlines.
Pitt's women's soccer wins fourth consecutive city game against Duquesne thanks to the strong defense. Pitt's women's soccer defeated Duquesne 3-1 in the third game on its 2023 spring soccer schedule, thanks to their strong defensive performance. With the win, Pitt extends its city game win streak to 4. H2P. Let's go! Next up, we have Love on the Lawn benefit concert celebrates Women's History Month Pitt Pride Week. Pitt Pride Week in Women's History Month offers live music in a variety of genres. Proceeds went to the UPMC's Children Miracle Network in conjunction with Pitt Dance Marathon. Funds also went to Rainbow Alliance and Pitt's chapter of Days for Girls. Last up, we have Pennsylvania Rep. Latasha Mays denounces Pitt for hosting transphobic speakers. Let's hear a quick update by Tanya Babar.
Latasha Mays, a Democrat in the Pennsylvania House of Representatives, criticized Pitt for allowing transphobic speakers to come to campus and therefore encouraging harm to trans members of the community. I denounce the transphobic speakers who are here on campus. I condemn the university for doing so, Mays said. My speaking here was planned months ago, but I don't believe this is an accident.
Once again, we apologize for any technical difficulties you may be witnessing. On a good note, coming up, hear why Pitt's campus saw a slew of protests this week, with hundreds of students blocking traffic on Pitt's busiest of streets.
And the latest innovations in robotics, which could change the industrial workforce for the better, all from a company right here in Pittsburgh.
And be sure to catch up on the latest festivities that fraternities and sororities have been up to on campus.
And the biggest Greek event of the year is tomorrow. See why you should check it out.
We'll be right back after the break.
Officially back and in the books.
Stefanski just shoots and he scores. They're the winningest team in Pittsburgh history.
Ball sent in. Sullivan, Pittsburgh, 1-0.
Great strike, Michael Sullivan.
Pittsburgh has a share of the ACC title in 2022. The record set by Tony Dorsett has been broken by Israel Abanikanda here.
The Pitt Panthers are going into the next round for the first time in program history.
So one inventive tool that the University of Pittsburgh has is Pitt Funds Me. So Pitt Funds Me is for outside scholarships that you can review and apply for as well. There's 8,000 plus scholarships on that website. These scholarships have been vetted as good and reliable resources, so you can guarantee that these are not resources that are trying to steal money or trying to scam you in any way. Any student has access to this, even admitted students who have not deposited yet. When you go into your my.pitt.edu, you'll want to search in the Ask Kathy box, Pitt Funds Me, and make sure instead of an S in Pitt Funds Me, you're going to put a $sign. That will allow you to go into the portal to be able to look at all the outside scholarship opportunities that fit your specific profile. They will ask several questions. You do not have to answer all questions or any questions if you don't want to, but the more questions you answer, the more opportunities that become available to you to apply.
Point. Have you checked out our website yet? Well, if you haven't, give it a look.
If you want to see all your Pitt to the Point faves like me and David and stay up on current events, check us out on pittothepoint.com.
And if you want to learn more about the magic that happens behind the scenes and see more of our good-looking team, like me and Allie, check us out on social media.
You can find us on Instagram and Twitter at Pitt2ThePoint and on Facebook at Pitt to the Point. Check it out. Hundreds of Pitt students took to the streets in protest this week as a controversial speaker visited campus.
Pitt's Turning Point USA chapter hosted Riley Gaines, a former NCAA swimmer, to discuss transgender athletes in women's sports. Pitt students called on the university to cancel the event, calling it a threat to the trans community in Oakland. However, the university said it must allow the event to go on due to free speech rights.
The protest started in Schenley Plaza, and as more and more people gathered, they eventually took to the streets. Protesters occupied the intersection of Bigelow Boulevard and Forbes Avenue for roughly an hour and a half. Meanwhile, Gaines spoke to roughly 70 Pitt students in the O'Hara Ballroom about why she opposes transgender women in women's sports.
There is a 10 to 12% performance gap between the most elite male and the most elite female. They both obviously have competed at the highest level. They have the same amount of training. They put for lack of better words, they put in the same amount of work to compete at the level at which they are.
It's a big week for those in fraternity and sorority life, with fundraising events and fun activities happening all the way through Saturday.
Now we go to Pitt Beat reporter Shay Sweeney, who has more on what these events set out to accomplish. What's up, Shay?
Off this Monday with events all over campus. Pitt's fraternities and sororities are leading fundraising efforts to support local charities and to build a presence on campus. Members of Greek Life are leading guest lectures, donation drives, and performances, all student organized, to really bring themselves together to make memories and to support their community.
We kicked this off with a guest speaker called Archie Cares, and he came last year for Greek Week and talked about the importance of mental health and putting yourself first. Well, we have so much going on with school. We're all students. Being involved in Greek life isn't like our main priority. So he came last year, and that was a great success, and came back again yesterday. He spoke mostly on the importance of your point of view, and what you believe is true sometimes isn't fact. Like, you might believe like you're in such a bad situation, but there's always a different perspective, and just talking to other people is the best way to get through it. So I was really happy that we started off with a mental health event. I think Greek Week, Greek life in general really prioritizes that, and I think that's one thing that gets pushed aside when we have all these other great events. So I'm happy to see that it's always a priority. The clothing drive is day 2. So this is another event that really brings people together and as well puts things in the bigger picture. There's no need to go and buy new things. Like, it's not superficial at all. Like, you can just borrow other people's clothes and stuff like that. This also incorporates sustainability, which is really important for longevity in socioeconomic status, like just making these events accessible to way more people is our goal. This week involves like some really fun things. We have Greek Sing, we have the food drive, karaoke. Those are some more like lighthearted events, while still including the importance of what really matters and like what do you want to get out of this. So I think that that's a great learning experience.
Highlight of Greek Week, Greek Sing, which will happen tomorrow, April 1st, and more information on that is yet to come. For Pitt to the Point, I'm your Pitt Beat reporter, Shay Sweeney. Allie, David?
Thanks for that, Shay. Ellie, I personally have been having a lot of fun going to the events this week.
Yeah, me too, David, but I'm mostly looking forward to kicking your team's butt in Greek Sing tomorrow.
You're on. This week for Clubbing at Pitt, we take a look at Pitt's largest Greek life event, Greek Sing.
Wonder what they're cheering for? The group on stage just finished their 10-minute routine at the 2022 Greek Sing competition. This event caps off Greek Week every year, and the 2023 Greek Sing chair Talia Kaganovsky explains its importance to the Pitt community.
I think that Greek Sing really does showcase the fact that we want to put on an amazing show for the community, and that's why we want to do it outside so that nobody has to pay to get in. They can always just walk straight up and just watch our shows, and we even have an admitted students day on Saturday, so hopefully they'll be able to get to see the kind of things that we like to put on for the community.
Although these routines are fun and entertaining, there is a lot of hard work that goes into creating these shows.
Just watching other teams, it takes them months to prepare. They really do take a lot of time out of their week, usually like 6 to 8 hours a week for a few months, and then building up this week, they're all practicing every single day to make sure that they put on the best performance that they can.
Greek Sing will take place tomorrow, April 1st at 1 p.m. If you're looking for fun this weekend, you know where to go.
Next up, we're going to throw it to the other side of the state for our college and high school report.
Today, we are joined live by Lancaster Catholic students to see what's going on with the Crusaders in Lancaster, PA.
What do you have for us, Lancaster Catholic?
Thanks, guys, and good morning. My name is Katie Kelly.
And I'm Kira White.
Everyone listens to music, so we all know there is always a certain song that can match your mood exactly.
Even Spotify gives us catered playlists such as Happy Mix, Moody Mix, or something of that sort.
Here at Lancaster Catholic, we took a quick look at how music affects our mood. Do you find yourself tapping your foot while shopping or having all the feels when you're watching a movie? No matter your age, gender, ethnicity, or race, music is a common phenomenon that impacts everyone. Active music making positively affects our neurotransmitters such as serotonin and dopamine. The limbic system, which is involved in processing emotions and controlling memory, lights up when our ears perceive music.
Do I use it as a stress reliever? Definitely. I grab a pair of sticks, hit a pad. Yeah, it's awesome.
One song will not give everybody the same feeling, and that is the beauty in the diversity of music. I'm Katie Kelly, and this is Lancaster Catholic Morning Show. Knowing that music doesn't only affect how you feel, but also allows people to experience each song in their own way is just one of the many reasons to love music.
I've been learning to play guitar, and I know that playing faster-paced music is more enjoyable to me.
I definitely prefer to listen to the punk rock genre. There's so much variety, so I can switch it up with my mood.
Next time you listen to music, take a second to think about how it changes your mood.
This has been Lancaster Catholic High School. Back to you guys.
Thank you so much for that. Listen, I listened to what you put in, and it was the song In My Head by Bedroom, and I gotta say, that's one of my favorite songs, and just, thank you for giving me that this morning.
Yeah, good taste. I also hear that you guys have a little tradition where you play music in the hallways. I had at my high school. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so usually we do it around Christmas time, and you can definitely see the mood in the hallways change a little bit. Everybody's a little bit more happy.
For sure, yeah. Last year, the seniors even played music on their speaker on their last day of school. It definitely gave us all kind of a nostalgic feeling, kind of feel bad for them leaving, but it's kind of sad to see them go. But definitely it brings me back to this time of year now that we're going to be seniors and leaving soon. So definitely uplifting mood for sure.
For sure. We had the same thing on Fridays. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Combining safety and efficiency in the workforce can be a challenge for most companies, but one company known as Sarcos has it down to a science.
The Lawrenceville-based company uses robotics to improve both the safety and efficiency of the industrial workforce.
For more on this, we go to our business and tech reporter, Aiden Dean. Aiden?
The 2000s, the digital era, the new millennium. A time seemingly characterized by the relationship between humans and digital technology. Jürgen Pedersen is the COO of a company that's revolutionizing that relationship by improving the safety and productivity of industrial workers across industries, ranging from forest and parks management to oil and gas to national defense. The name of this Pittsburgh-based company is Sarcos Robotics.
We looked at the physics of biology in developing a lot of this technology, whether it be a human being or whether it be, a kangaroo. Biology is such an inspiration for us to learn from. The company was founded on the premise of keeping people out of harm's way, like making a positive impact on the world, achieving safety through robotics. And we established a culture of truly people first, because if you get the right chemistry of people together, that's when magic happens. If you take care of people, everything else is a byproduct. Technical success, growth, profitability, opportunity. If you're taking care of your people, then everything else works itself out.
And as Carnegie Mellon University's first graduate with a master's degree in robotics, Jürgen is helping to grow the city where he was taught.
We are the robotics capital of the world, right? There's many that are trying to claim that, but if you look at the breadth of capability related to robotics in Pittsburgh, it's phenomenal.
History proves that innovation brings dread. But in the words of Aristotle, horror vacui.
Nature abhors a void, right? We're human beings. We change, we evolve. The jobs change. It's exciting to think about that I have no idea what jobs look like 100 years from now.
Pedersen tells us that robotics can and eventually will infiltrate all industries. And he wants to remind us not to resist or to be afraid of this change, but to embrace it as an opportunity for growth as a society. And in the meantime, we here at the University of Pittsburgh will keep you updated on all the latest. For business and technology reporting with Pitt to the Point, I'm Aiden Dean Dunn. Allie, David?
Thank you, Aiden. Coming up, the Panthers put up some impressive numbers at Pitt's Pro Day this Wednesday. See who stood out amongst the crowd.
And continuing with sports, we see our very own Pitt wrestler rose to the top of the NCAA charts.
Stay tuned.
We are the University of Pittsburgh, forged in the blue collar.
Welcome back to Pitt to the Point. For the first time in history, Pitt is set to host the NCAA Women's Gymnastics Regional Championships.
They'll compete against both of Pitt's biggest rivals in West Virginia and Penn State, along some other great teams.
3 of our very own Pitt Panthers will compete today at 2 p.m. Sophomore Hallie Copperwheat in the all-around competition, first-year Raina Garvey on beam, and first-year Natalia Pollack on bars.
You can catch all the action in the Peterson Event Center this weekend.
A year after their ACC championship win, many Pitt football players returned for another successful season, leading the team to an overall 9-4 record.
That's right, Allie. And although we say goodbye to some stud seniors, we're excited to see what kind of star power they bring to the NFL.
We caught a glimpse of their bright futures this Wednesday at Pitt's Pro Day. Our Pitt sports reporter, Donnie Blackwell, was there, and she's got all the deets. Donnie?
Thanks, Allie. On Wednesday, the Pitt Panthers held their NFL Pro Day at the UPC Mini Sports Complex. With all 32 teams in attendance, the players were able to perform and showcase their talents. The Panthers had a total of 13 players representing, and it's possible that these players opened many eyes for this program. Pitt had an amazing day. These young men showed how this program has prepared them for the big leagues as they hope to fulfill their lifelong dreams.
It's just a blessing to be here, number one, and number two, like I said, you're living out your childhood dream. So this is the first step, and we're just waiting for it to be completed.
After missing the combine, running back Izzy Abanikanda had to show scouts that Pitt breeds talent.
Today was like just a day for me to show out. You know, I was motivated after not participating in the combine. So I know today was a big day for me. So I just wanted to show out my breakaway speed because a lot of people still thought like I couldn't really break away. So I really wanted to show them my 40.
Facing doubts about his size, defensive tackle Kalijah Cansey completed a 6.8 in his 3-cone drill, making his time one of the fastest if done at the combine.
They thought I was 5'10". I came in 6'1", 283, and I kind of surprised a lot of people. The height is, it don't matter to me, honestly. Playing defensive tackle, you got to play with great pad level. No defensive lineman play at 6'7". I mean, you gotta bend at the point of attack. You gotta play with good footwork, good pad level, or you're gonna get moved around.
These young men proved how Pitt produces great talent. As they go into the NFL, they will always remember that Pitt is home.
It does, but I mean, I think a school like this was done so much for me, done so much for me. Like family, this school is family forever. My chapter at Pitt here is done, but in NFL, a new journey arrives.
2023 at home against Wolford, following another home game against Cincinnati September 9th. The famous backyard brawl and known rivalry against West Virginia will be in Morgantown this year on September 16th, and the Panthers will finish up the season on November 25th for an away game against Duke, seeking another ACC championship under head coach Pat Narduzzi. As these former Panthers wrap up their journey here at Pitt, the 2023 NFL Draft will take place April 27th through the 29th in Kansas City. We look forward to hearing these Panthers' names called that weekend and seeing their dreams flourish. For Pitt to the Point, I'm Pitt sports reporter Donnie Blackwell. Josh, how are things going in the city?
Thank you, Donnie. For years, the Pittsburgh Pirates have been mired in futility, but with a brand new baseball season upon us, the Buccos are ready to beat the naysayers and have a great season. With a great young core of talent and newly acquired veterans, let's see how they fared in their season opener at Great American Ballpark.
It's opening day. It's Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati, where it is a citywide holiday for the longest standing major league franchise. After an early run scored off of Mitch Keller, O'Neal Cruz says bye-bye deficit. And man, that is something to get excited about for Pirates fans who are hoping for many more O'Neal bombs in the future. What's more, top fourth, Fernando Cruz in relief loses the strike zone, and Brian Reynolds walks, Jaiwan Bai scores. Next batter, Andrew McCutchen, he walks, scoring Austin Hedges. And after that, yet another run comes across the plate for the Buccos, as with Carlos Santana batting, a wild pitch scores O'Neal Cruz. After a Spencer Steer homer in the fourth, Jason Vosler rips a triple down the right field line, scoring Jonathan India and tying the ball game at 4. But if you thought O'Neal Cruz was done, you were mistaken, as he plays hero once again with a go-ahead sacrifice fly in the left field, and the Pirates would retake the lead in the 8th inning. Now it's time for the Pirates to show off the gloves. That's Austin Hedges to O'Neal Cruz, getting Fairchild out at second base. An impressive throw, and another impressive throw from David Bednar to end it. That's the opening day game, and that's the opening day roster.
It's clear to see why O'Neal Cruz is viewed as the face of the Pirates franchise. But honestly, if the Buccos are to have a real good season, they're going to need contributions from other young players, such as Cabrian Hayes, Jack Sawinski, and young ace Jose Oviedo, alongside newly acquired veterans such as Carlos Santana, Rich Hill, and of course, Pirates legend Andrew McCutchen. For Pitt to the Point, I'm Pitt sports reporter Josh Byrne. David, Allie.
Thank you so much for that, for keeping us updated on sports, Josh and Donnie. The Pitt Panthers have added another trophy to its shelves. Nino Bonacorsi brought home the NCAA Wrestling Championship in the 197 weight class.
And again, thank you for your patience on these technical difficulties. Bonacorsi has qualified for the NCAA tournament 5 years in a row, and this was his first time bringing home the gold, something that hasn't happened for a Pitt wrestler in 15 years.
It wasn't an easy road for Nino Bonacorsi to become Pitt's first national champion since 2008. He was the runner-up in 2021, and he was a two-time PIAA state runner-up.
It kind of felt like everything was worth it, because during those times, those low times, you definitely start having doubts about kind of your progress and if you're going to achieve one of your goals. So, I think it's kind of a good story, too, for young wrestlers to see,
Bonacorsi fell behind early after being taken down, but with a takedown of his own and earning riding time, he realized he was going to win right on the mat.
Hard, and my opponent actually looked up at the clock and looked back down, and he said, "Good match, man." So he kind of not conceded, but kind of acknowledged that kind of the match is over. So there's a video of I give him a pat on the chest, and it was kind of at that moment when I kind of said out loud, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe this is actually happening," and it was just something that I'll never forget. And
the last Pitt wrestler to win a national championship in 2008, Pitt head wrestling coach Keith Gavin, and in the wrestling room, Nino Bonacorsi credits him as one of the main factors of him winning the national championship.
Keith is very stoic, and he really shows no emotion. So I feel like if people were to analyze his practice based on how he looks, you'd be like, "Oh my god, you guys have no fun." And this is really geared toward each individual's progress, whereas I feel like some coaches or some programs will one kind of style fits all sort of thing, whereas Keith is finding each individual wrestler's uniqueness.
Now that he's accomplished his dream, the feelings are so sweet for Nino Bonacorsi.
In a way, it feels nice to finally kind of bring a title back for my home city. It just feels so humbling, and so to kind of be able to give back to this community and this city that's done so much for me.
Coming up, hear how artificial intelligence is making its way into the medical industry right here in Pittsburgh.
And your last chance to see an incredible show on one of Pitt's regional campuses before the end of Women's History Month.
All that and more after the break.
The University Store on 5th is more than a college bookstore. We are independently owned and operated by the university. The University Store on 5th is more than a college bookstore. We are independently owned and operated by the university, and we've been that way. The University Store on 5th is more than a college bookstore. We are independent. We are the University of Pittsburgh, forged in a blue-collar city with gold standards, where innovators, researchers, thinkers, and healers are always reaching for new heights. There is no limit to what we can accomplish when we put our minds, our hands, our soul, and spirit to it. Here, progress is always in progress. Hail to Pitt, proud partner of the ACC. We are the University of Pittsburgh, forged in a blue-collar city with gold standards, where innovators, researchers, thinkers, and healers are always reaching for new heights. There is no limit to what we can accomplish when we put our minds, our hands, our soul, and spirit to it. Here, progress is always in progress. Hail to Pitt, proud partner of the...
They come here.
H2P is short for Hail to Pitt, our Panther fight song, but we also use it to express just how much we love it here. There are so many reasons to hail, but here are just a few.
Welcome back to Pitt to the Point. It feels like artificial intelligence is around us everywhere we go, with applications like ChatGPT and DALL-E really taking off.
It's even in some of our hospitals. Notably, UPMC's partnership with company Abridge is improving patient-to-doctor communication, helping save time and bettering healthcare outcomes overall.
For more on the story, here's our Medical Minute with Anthony Siki. Anthony?
Thanks, guys. Artificial intelligence is slowly working into every single facet of our lives, especially what is called generative artificial intelligence, with programs such as ChatGPT really being the front runner for programs like these. Now, a local company saw a way to use similar systems in our medical world right here in Pittsburgh's UPMC hospitals, helping doctors save a significant amount of time.
Artificial intelligence is becoming part of our everyday lives, from cars that drive themselves to facial recognition to open up our phones. Similar technology is entering the medical world, especially right here in Pittsburgh. UPMC hospitals are implementing a new artificial intelligence technology system to help their doctors save time. The system being developed by the local company Abridge uses what is called generative AI to create summaries and clinical notes for doctors. Now, I know all of that may have sounded like a science fiction movie, but let me explain. Generative artificial intelligence creates things, hence the term generative. It uses a set of algorithms to create new content such as this conversation with ChatGPT, or these images thanks to OpenAI's DALL-E. For as realistic as they are, they still seem a little bit off. These hallucinations, as they're called, caused concern for using generative AI in medical settings where precision could be the difference between life and death. This is why applications such as ChatGPT are not currently used in diagnosis. With the low risk factor associated with the implementation of Abridge's system, UPMC saw a way to improve its operational systems and save its doctors about 2 hours every day. Abridge's system is becoming available for thousands of employees at UPMC in the near future, helping doctors create clinical summaries and notes simply by talking with their patients.
Save about 2 hours each day. Now, let's say doctors see about 3 to 4 patients per hour. That's up to 8 more patients that can be seen by doctors daily in UPMC hospitals, translating to over 1,500 openings in UPMC hospitals every single year. Now, what does that mean for you watching at home? Well, of course, it's going to be a lot easier to pick up the phone and get an appointment at a UPMC hospital, but also the waiting times in those pesky waiting rooms are going to be significantly less. From Pitt to the Point, I'm your medical reporter, Anthony Siki. David, Allie.
Thanks, Anthony. Here at Pitt to the Point, we are all about sticking to our roots. And a little birdie told me that David here was a theater kid in high school. David, are the rumors true?
You got me. I was a lead in 2 shows, one called Urinetown and one called Radium Girls. And I did set crew on the side. I really liked, building the set, working with wood, cutting it. And, it's just a lot that you can really work with.
Yeah. What was, would you say your favorite role when you were in those shows?
I played Mr. Lee in Radium Girls. And it was really fun because I got to be this, powerful businessman that, took over a company, and it was really unethical. But, it was just so fun to be in that role at that time.
That's awesome. Well, to all our current and former theater kids or just theater enthusiasts, our regional campus reporter, Laura Stravik, has the scoop on your last chance to catch a great show. Take it away, Laura.
After a successful run of A Streetcar Named Desire in the fall, the Pitt Greensburg Theater Company
wanted to do something a little bit more small and intimate for their spring.
The Heinz. Talking With is a play unlike most plays. It's comprised of 11 individual monologues, all told by different women. This popular college campus production is getting reimagined at Pitt Greensburg for their spring theater production.
I am Christina Albeck. I'm a she, her, hers. I am the director of theater and professor of theater, assistant professor of theater at University of Pittsburgh at Greensburg. This is a very different kind of production because it is a series of monologues. It's like a bunch of little mini plays. Well, it's a small campus, right? It's a very small campus. So there aren't a lot of, compared to, the large campus, there aren't a lot of students, right? But I, prefer that because then your students, you know what they can do. You know how they act, you know how you can challenge them, you know their boundaries, right? That's what's great about working at a small campus like this, right?
The end of March coming up, Pitt Greensburg's take on Talking With coincides with the end of Women's History Month and aims to give a voice to more women's stories.
Talking With's opening night happened last night, but there's still a few chances to go and catch the show. You can go to the Ferguson Theater in Pitt Greensburg tonight or tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. or catch it on Sunday, April 2nd at 2:30 p.m. Tickets are $5 at the door cash, and you don't want to miss it. From Pitt to the Point, I'm on-campus reporter Laura Stroud. Allie, David?
Thanks, Laura. Allie, it's always good to hear from Greensburg and what's happening over there. Maybe I should go down there, revive my theater career. What do you think?
Oh, yeah. I think I'll stick to cheering you on from the wings, but I think you should go for it.
Fair. Make sure to stick with us after the break, where we give you a glimpse into Pittsburgh's past.
And this university had an alumni appear on Jeopardy this week. David?
What is the University of Pittsburgh?
That's right. Don't miss it.
Is officially back and in the books.
Stefanski just shoots and he scores. They're the winningest team in Pittsburgh history.
Ball sent in. Sullivan, Pittsburgh, 1-0.
Great strike, Michael Sullivan.
Pittsburgh has a share of the ACC title in 2022.
The record set by Tony Dorsett has been broken by Israel Abanikanda here.
The Pitt Panthers are going into the next round for the first time in program history.
Welcome back to Pitt to the Point.
David, do you ever find yourself feeling, nostalgic?
Oh, I think about my childhood a lot. Silly bands, iCarly, that one uncle I saw at my family reunion but then disappeared and I never heard from again for some strange reason. The good old days.
Okay, yeah, sure. But I was thinking more like the 60s, the 70s, retro, vintage.
Retro. Well, in case you should check out Vintage Pittsburgh this Saturday. For more, we go to our entertainment reporter, Lindsay Beck. What you got for us, Lindsay?
Thanks, guys. Now, I think we all know and love the classic
1985 movie Back to the Future, and if you're anything like me, you love a good throwback. Well, this Saturday, you'll get the chance to go back in time for the day and maybe even take some retro finds back home with you, because the Heinz History Center is hosting the 9th annual Retro Fair Vintage Pittsburgh. Let's take a look at why this fair is so special and what to expect.
The Heinz History Center, the oldest cultural institution in Western Pennsylvania, promotes a mission to engage and inspire large and diverse audiences through programs that enable links to the past, understanding the present, and guidance for the future. Well, this Saturday, the Vintage Pittsburgh Fair will be up and running at Heinz History Center for community members and retro enthusiasts to shop till you drop, while exploring all of what the Heinz History Center has to offer. This event is packed with over 45 local vendors selling vintage goods that range from clothes to accessories to vinyl records and more.
We are always trying to make history relevant at the History Center. We want to connect what's happened in the past to what's happening today. Programs allow us to do that.
Admission to the fair is included with a ticket to the Heinz History Center and is free for Heinz History Center members. Not only is the fair full of fun vintage finds, but it supports several local and family-run businesses in the Pittsburgh area.
But when I got here, I was like, I had no idea what Pittsburgh was like. I'd never been here really, so I just tried to figure out how I could become part of the community and stuff.
I always enjoy all the kinds of people I end up seeing.
There's always lots of conversations, and everyone has a story that they want to share when they see some old piece that their grandmother had, or someone, that also had a story for the same exact thing.
Finds that this vintage fair is going to bring out this year. If you want more information and to grab some tickets, go ahead and get online and go to their website at hineshistorycenter.org. I can't wait to see what this fair is going to bring out, and I'll throw it back to you guys. I'm your entertainment reporter, Lindsay Beck. Allie, David.
Thanks, Lindsay. Hey, Allie, are you following us on social media?
Oh yeah, I cannot get enough of the Instagram. I just love stalking it, seeing everyone's beautiful faces all the time.
Well, in case you missed it, check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Just search Pitt to the Point, and you'll arrive at your destination.
When we come back, this woman just could have gotten her start at Hems Trivia, and now she's made it to the big leagues.
That's right. We'll be right back.
They come here, forged in the spirit of change, pushing to answer the questions, and then questioning the answers, embracing each challenge as fuel for reinventing the world. Because here, leadership, courage, creativity,
Welcome back to Pitt to the Point. One of my favorite things to do when I'm home on break is watching Jeopardy every night with my dad.
And I bet you shout out all the answers even before the question's done being read.
Okay, yeah, guilty as charged. But that's why I'm especially excited for this Pitt alum who had her chance to shine on Jeopardy earlier this week. Let's take a look at our alumni spotlight.
Chemical names is our final Jeopardy category today. Let's show our contestants the clue. The name of this pungent gaseous compound is ultimately derived from the top god of the ancient Egyptians. Nicole Rudolph, did she think of ammonia? What is radon? Oh, for Ra. That's another name of Ammon. I like the guess. But no, you're going to lose whatever you wager. Not a penny. Nicole, you're our Jeopardy champion. You have $16,800.
I was never on Quiz Bowl. I never did a trivia team. It just kind of grew out of after I had my kids, and when kids are little, you're often at home. So I just kind of got into watching Jeopardy. I learned a lot from my students in terms of, oh, this one's working on chemistry. I clearly, from my performance on Jeopardy, did not learn as much chemistry as possibly I needed to. I think every contestant is going to have his or her or their own pathway to acquiring the knowledge that they have. I'm not a big kind of flashcard person. Just something like reading a newspaper every day is invaluable, getting folks out of silos of information as well. And it just so happens that it works great for being on Jeopardy. But there's a lot of information circulating around the internet about trying to use data to max out your performance. My personal take on it is just go and have fun. I think it can psych people out and steal the joy from the experience. Approach it like you're going on a fun adventure.
Nicole Rudolph also highlighted the invaluable opportunity of study abroad.
Why memorize, different currencies when you can go to the places and you know what they are? Those kinds of experiences aren't available to all students everywhere. So be excited and look for adventures wherever they can find them.
Thanks for watching today and for bearing with us through our technical difficulties. We hope you tune in next week for another exciting episode of Pitt to the Point. Once again, I'm Allie Ross.
And I'm David Altman. Pitt to the Point is your #1 news source for all things happening at Pitt, all the way
to the point. We can't thank you enough for tuning in this morning on Pitt to the Point. Catch you next week.
Thanks. Goodbye.